Yeah, Twitter's on the chopping block, honestly. I think I'm going to delete my account tonight, as a matter of fact.
You heard it here first.
I'm not in love with it.
Wait, hold on. I got to load up your account and find some problematic tweets before you delete it.
Nah.
Welcome to Millennial, the home of pretend adulting and real talk. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Y'all, I'm excited for my first ever cruise. I think I brought it up on the show a couple weeks ago. But I'm actually thinking of canceling it and booking another one now. Did you two hear this story? The Villa Ve Residence cruise kicks off next year and runs for 4 years, or the length of Trump's presidency. And the cruise line specifically marketed the 4-year cruise as an opportunity to avoid the outcome of the U.S. election, no matter who won. They announced this before Election Day, but this recently was making headlines because people are like, oh, here's a way to escape the country for 4 years. The cruise starts at $40,000 per year and takes you to 140 countries. So pretty amazing. The program is being offered in 1, 2, 3, and 4-year packages, and they're leaning into the avoid your country theme with the names of these packages. The 1-year package is called Escape from Reality. The 2-year package is called Midterm Selection. The 3-year package is called Anywhere But Home. And the 4-year package is called Skip Forward. This sounds amazing, right?
I just love there's a mid-year option because things could turn around in 2 years.
Right. Exactly.
In the Senate, at least.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Pam, you asked a really good question about this the other night in terms of like when you can make the add-on purchase.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Like, can you start with the midterm selection and then upgrade to fast forward or skip forward,
depending on how it goes.
Oh crap, we lost
exactly.
the midterms. I want to stay longer. So earlier today, I was doing some back of the napkin math to figure out like how can I actually afford this? Because, I work remote. This is not out of the realm of possibility for me. So I figured out some steps here to make this work for me. First of all, I make Pat fully pay for our current residence while I'm gone. So that saves me a good chunk of change. You're on a cruise, so I won't have to pay for food, no rent, no utilities. I assume there's a gym on board. That'll be nice. I won't have to pay for travel because all the travel, I'm going to be shuttled around the world. Like I said, I can work fully remote. And now here's the thing. There has to be good Wi-Fi and like really good Wi-Fi because now I deal with a lot of video files too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big if.
Can you bring Brooklyn?
Oh,
good
I like
question.
how that's. I
Or are
like
you
how
going to
you're asking that
abandon him
question,
for a
but
whole
I'm
year?
not. Andrew's abandoning his dog
4 years.
for possibly the final 4 years of his life.
Stop. Brooklyn's in good health, I'm sure.
Yes.
He's eternal.
But then I was thinking, okay, so I still have some money to make up to afford $40,000 a year. I could become a TikTok star on the cruise and generate the remaining money that I need through TikTok's like creator program. And you know that anyone who goes on this cruise for 4 years under the premise of I'm going to avoid Trump for 4 years is going to get a lot of attention on TikTok. But then, of course, you get people following you, but then you got to maintain the drama for 4 years. So, you got to cause some shit on the ship.
That's the thing. You got to be messy.
Yeah. And then couldn't you technically write off the cruise ship price because you're using it for work?
Now you're talking. I need to hire like a producer too to help me create, like, give me ideas for drama to cause on the ship.
You should just cut in line when everybody's trying to get off at certain docks.
Yeah.
And then just be like, what are you talking about? I was here the whole time. That's a surefire way to piss people off.
Oh, yeah.
Or just like vomit on people on the ship in one of the restaurants. Sorry, man, I got seasick. I'm filming it the whole time.
Yeah.
Honestly, you should ask Andy Cohen for advice. I feel like he would have some really funny strategies for being like the messiest person on the boat.
Yeah. And then I was also thinking I could launch a merch store.
Uh-huh.
Make some revenue that way. I could launch a Patreon where I share all of my on-ship sexcapades. Or actually, I would just launch an OnlyFans to do that. There's a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah. I think you would have to get Pat's permission for that. No.
For which part?
For the
leaving him for 4
sexcapades.
years? Yeah, I guess so.
I like how I'm like, no, not the 4 years. The sexcapades.
4 years, not leaving him with Brooklyn for 4 years.
Right. Not wanting to come back to a house in 4 years.
Laura, you like cruises. Would you do something like this? I know you've talked about like leaving the country if Trump won in 2016 or 2020 or 2024.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I like to keep all my options open. The thought of going on a cruise feels probably like the least likely outcome here. I enjoy going on themed cruises. The only cruise I've ever been on was a punk rock cruise. The traditional style of a cruise is not really my thing. So I think I would struggle with this. Like, even trying to think about doing it for a month feels like way too long to be on a cruise ship. Those rooms are so tiny.
The theme of this cruise, though, is blissful ignorance. Just lean into that theme for 4 years.
But how blissful is it? Because everybody's still got their cell phones on them, and in a lot of parts of the world, you're still going to have cell signal.
Do you want to pay for that phone bill? That's another way you can save money.
Or like, what if other countries in the world decide they're not going to like admit Americans, and then you just get stuck on the boat? You know, because you can't actually get off.
I know. Oh my gosh. Like, everyone got off in Cabo except me.
My worst nightmare, honestly.
I truly salute anybody who does one of these even for a year. I mean, that's just what an amazing getaway that must be. Well, anyway, that was funny. Something else funny happened this week, Laura.
Yeah. So I think the most shocking thing about this story for me was that it was not a headline from satirical online newspaper, The Onion. The Onion bought Alex Jones's InfoWars. For anyone who's not familiar with Alex Jones and InfoWars, there are some really amazing compilations you can look up on YouTube. Some of them set to a beat just to see how ridiculous of a person this is. But the main reason for all of this is that Alex Jones pushed very hard and very painfully these conspiracy theories about the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting, about 12 years ago at this point. Pushed the idea that like no kids actually died, that these families were lying, that it was all a false flag operation in an Obama administration attempt to overreach and take people's guns. I mean, it's insanity. Well, the families of the children that were lost at Sandy Hook actually won a $1.5 billion lawsuit against Alex Jones over all of this insanity, which bankrupts him. So as a result of the bankruptcy, all of InfoWars and its assets needed to be sold off to satisfy some of Jones's debts in the bankruptcy. And the literal funniest way this could have gone is exactly what happened. This satirical website that I think a lot of us who listen to this show are pretty familiar with. You usually see their headlines shared like in your social feeds. To see that they were the ones that acquired InfoWars and will have the ability to take something that was so hurtful and damaging and kind of turn it on its head and make fun of the very thing that it was is incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the perfect 2024 headline. If you saw this at the start of the year, I mean, nobody would have predicted this. Like,
no.
Imagine this on a bingo card. It would be a parody headline if somebody was predicting headlines they would see in 2024.
I thought it was at first.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
I did too. When I saw it floating around on social media, I thought it was a joke. But then I saw like the trades picking it up, you know, like Deadline Variety, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is serious. They wouldn't have picked this up if it was a joke.
Yeah.
And Alex Jones was caught off guard by this as well. He live streamed the morning of this going down. He was on air and Steve Bannon calls him, and Steve Bannon doesn't realize Alex Jones is on air, and Steve Bannon over speakerphone is like, what the fuck is this headline I just saw? And Alex is like, wait, I'm live on air. Hold on.
Alex should have been like, hey man, how you feeling? You just got out of jail. How's it going over there? But for anyone who maybe isn't as familiar, obviously, like I said, The Onion is a satirical news platform. It's been around for a long time. I actually didn't realize how long. It's been around since 1988 when it started in print. They did transition to online media in 1996. And for just a taste of some of the headlines that you can expect from The Onion, if you've never seen it before, they write stories like RFK vows to ban soaps that smell so good you eat a little, or obscure porn category viewed out of morbid curiosity for 26th time. And Trump nods vacantly as Elon Musk rattles off 10th consecutive video game recommendation. And these are all written in a very newsy way. When you read the articles, it literally reads like something that you would see on like a CNN or an ABC, whatever. It's just the content is like totally ridiculous.
Yeah, they also have a spinoff site they launched a few years ago called Clickhole.
Oh, yeah.
And it's meant to be like a BuzzFeed parody, which is also very funny. I follow both of these sites on Instagram in particular, and they just make me laugh during the day with their headlines. They're so good, often responding as Laura's headlines that she's reading or alluding to, often responding to the news of the week. So they're grounded in reality to some extent.
And they have one headline that they reuse really frequently. Anytime there's a mass shooting in the United States, their article, "No Way to Prevent This," says only nation where this regularly happens, goes viral every single time.
I think we've brought it up on the show in years past too, when mass shootings have occurred.
Yeah. So to kind of share the impact, not just on us, like as a society and kind of our perceptions of InfoWars and what it feels like to see Alex Jones really get his just desserts, I want to talk about the families of the Sandy Hook parents, because they actually agreed to less of a payout than they were entitled to in order to support the Onion's bid, because there was another bidder that was higher than the Onion. It was actually the company that managed Alex Jones's supplement line. The man was forever selling all kinds of supplements.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of his big things. But it was that company that was actually trying to place the highest bid. And somehow the Onion was able to finagle this. And the Sandy Hook families were literally like, we will take less money. Just get this motherfucker off his platform.
It's pretty amazing. And, the owner, the current CEO of The Onion, I think said that they now own a lot of these supplements too. So I don't know if he was kidding. I didn't get the impression that he was.
No.
But
they get everything. They get
the supplement company above wanted to purchase the who owned the supplements to begin with?
I don't know the answer to that. But I mean, they're getting the physical studio. They're getting all the InfoWars archival footage, allegedly the supplements. They're getting the website and social media presences, and they're getting the contact and subscriber lists.
That's the big one, which is big to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could do a lot of damage with that, like good damage.
Yes. Well, I mean, honestly, I feel like part of the strategy will hopefully be to try to reach people where they are. Because obviously the InfoWars brand is going to still carry some weight with a certain crowd of people for a period of time.
And they are presumably going to turn the site into another Onion, because the CEO basically said that they have lots of plans. And I think, this is just going to be a really cool opportunity for them to turn InfoWars on its head, and they will be confusing a lot of people who maybe don't know what has happened to InfoWars as well. And I'm also thinking from like a web publisher perspective, they own this domain name. Does Google rank InfoWars, or did they de-rank them? But I have to think that people are going to go searching for content, and InfoWars is going to rank high now. Well, it already does, presumably, but it's going to continue to rank high as a parody website. And then they're going to be posting articles on it that rank high when people are searching for real news stories. You get what I'm saying here? Like, they're going to confuse search engines.
But InfoWars was already posting fake news. So, like, adding more fake news isn't, like, going to make it worse than it already was. So, but the other thing, too, is, like, traditional papers do run satire articles. Like, that's always been a part of news. It's part of the news commentary, but they're clearly labeled as such. That's why they always run, like in the op-ed section. So that's something to keep in mind as well. There's always like a kernel of fact, right? Like that's usually what inspires it. And then you just like run wild with the idea. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the approach is probably going to be to specifically parody figures like Jones and platforms like InfoWars, because they are a dime a dozen. There are so many of them.
Agree.
And this is coming at a time when Trump made appearances on a lot of these bro-y type radio shows and podcasts to get people out to vote. And now The Onion is taking over arguably the biggest one of all. And like I said, turning it on its head. So the timing of this is pretty beautiful as well. They're going to get to start parodying so much of what we were seeing during the election.
But Andrew, I know you've been an avid early adopter of Blue Sky. And it sounds like some inspiration might have come from Blue Sky.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Blue Sky more in a little bit, but the owner of The Onion, the CEO of The Onion, Ben Collins, who goes by the name Tim Onion for some reason on Blue Sky, said part of the reason we did buy InfoWars is because people on Blue Sky told us it would be funny to buy InfoWars, and those people were right. This is the funniest thing that has ever happened. Also, when The Onion bought InfoWars, they released a statement from their fictitious owner, Bryce Tetradare, who owns the company Global Tetradron. It's purposely stupid because it's The Onion. And they released this whole statement from this fictitious CEO. Here's why I decided to buy InfoWars. And he talks about infinite growth forever. Like a normal media conglomerate would. It's all about growth, baby. More and more and more. Please the investors. But then Alex Jones actually fell for the fictitious CEO statement and read it on air, completely missing the fact that The Onion, it was just doing more parody, as they always do. And also, there was this other incredible moment. Fox News accidentally said on air that The Onion has 4.3 trillion daily readers. Now, I have to assume that The Onion released a press release to the media announcing the real news. And then them being The Onion, they said in the press release they have 4.3 trillion daily readers, which of course cannot be true.
Yeah, how many people are there on the planet?
It's got to be, I don't... How many people on planet?
Isn't it like
billions?
8 billion or something? Like
it's in the billions.
Something crazy.
I haven't checked in recently.
Well, they either put it in the press release or it's in the About Us, and they all went to the media kit as well to add in some extra fluff. So either way, they got.
Yeah, who at Fox wrote the script? Oh yeah, okay. So I'm looking on the Onion's About page, and it says 4.3 trillion daily readers. What fucking idiot! Whoever did that at Fox needs to be fired. I mean, that is just insane.
I mean, they probably were.
It also says their print newspaper began in 1756. I wonder if Fox fell for that part too.
Wow, older than the Constitution.
Oh my gosh.
Must be better.
Oh, you know
I'm
what? So
kidding.
Christina, who's listening live right now, says, do we think Tim Onion is a reference to Trump calling Tim Cook Tim Apple while he was in office? I bet that's it. That must be it.
That's
Good
good.
catch, Christina.
Well, Alex Jones is definitely going to hurt for a long time with losing the InfoWars branding and the bankruptcy. So I think his reach is going to be really, really limited for the time being. But what if he figures out how to tap into his audience on YouTube? Or what if he starts a Patreon? Like, I just find it hard to believe that a failed grifter is not going to try and find other ways to grift after failure. So I think he's going to try and find another shtick. I don't know if it's going to catch on as well as InfoWars did, but I don't know. Do y'all have any thoughts, or do you think he's cooked? Is he done for?
I think it's going to be tough to like, how do you move an entire audience over somewhere else? Because presumably you do that by getting the word out on your old publication or your old website, right? But he's not going to have access at all. And the odds of these people actually keeping up with this is, listen, this is him, making the bed and then having to sleep in it. The odds of these people are going to see like mainstream news coverage of the fact that he lost ownership is slim, right? Because the whole point is that they're all kind of like drinking his Kool-Aid. And so they only trust his news site.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't think he's going to be going away. I'm looking at his Twitter now. He's got 3.3 million followers there, and he's still very active on there. Of course, these days, the owner of X is very sympathetic to this type of person. So I think he'll continue to have a very large platform. However, InfoWars has been synonymous with Alex Jones and vice versa, and he lost his baby. He lost his biggest prize of all. And will he be able to recreate a site like that? We'll see. But this is a really good blow to his career, and I can't wait to see what Tim Onion does with the Onion, or with InfoWars, because I think he's going to be Alex Jones, and that type of person is going to be the laughing stock of the internet on the new Infowars.com for years and years to come.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see how they use all of the old archival footage. Because like the Onion has like their news network now, right? So they have ONN. Like I can't wait to see what they might do with that. And I know that they've been trying to look at like different monetization models. So I was like, it would be kind of funny if they put all of that footage behind a paywall. And they were like, if you want to watch this garbage, you have to at least pay for it. And we'll donate it to the Sandy Hook families.
Yeah. Laura, I don't think Patreon would allow Alex Jones on their platform, but maybe he could try doing like an OnlyFans. I bet a lot of people would sign up for that.
Oh, God. Yeah,
maybe
they probably would. But yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. Like, I was thinking, a lot of these like subscription platform sites, they all have terms of service, right? And he would totally flunk out of those. So yeah. I do think I think that his venues are limited. It's like X and Truth Social at this point, and then like people's personal Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think it's ever going to look like InfoWars did. Thank God.
Yeah. And he's been kicked off some platforms before. He was kicked off Facebook back in 2019.
But anyway, that is some happy news during a period of time when we've been getting a lot of not so happy news. And it's justice, which feels really, really good to see.
This is our new podcast. It's all happy news. We're sailing off onto a cruise for 4 years, and we're just sharing happy news via our slow Wi-Fi and very expensive and small room on our cruise ship. Well, speaking of happier news, people have been enjoying time in a very blue sky, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll be right back. Laura and Pam, I have major news. I joined Twitter back in 2007, and I have to say I was a pretty early adopter. I mean, I can't remember how I heard about Twitter, but I got in there. I got the username @Sims. And I remember still my very first tweet was about pirating music. And I said something like, sorry, RIAA. And I seriously remember where I sent off my first tweet at Rowan University. I was in the library and I was just joining another social media platform rather than studying. But so I've been on there for a really long time. I know you two have too. I am done with Twitter, officially done. And so many others are as well. The straw that broke the camel's back was Trump winning and Elon being BFFs with Trump. And Elon seems to have well, he's, as we talked about last week, he's already going to be a part of Trump's cabinet in the Doge department. So I thought, now's the time to go. I haven't been using it much anyway, besides doing some retweeting. I have been spending more time on Threads, but also in the last couple of weeks since the election, many people have been giving Blue Sky another try. Before I get into the history of Blue Sky, I will just say I am not deleting my Twitter account yet. I added The Sims the other day, asking once again if they would like to purchase the @Sims username, because I have not endured years of people asking me for help with The Sims video game just to give that away. I'll take $100 for it at this point. I'm done, but I'm not giving it away for free. That's a valuable handle. Stephen King has left Twitter too. He moved to Threads. And that was actually kind of a big deal. I mean, he's been a big name on Twitter, very active user for a really long time. Same thing with him, tired of the Elon and Trump mess. But so Blue Sky, what's interesting about it, it was actually born within Twitter, pre-Elon, by then CEO Jack Dorsey, who wanted to explore the idea of a decentralized version of Twitter. A decentralized social media platform operates on distributed networks rather than being controlled by a single company or person. And then users have greater control over their data, the moderation, and the platform's rules. And this enables open and independent interactions. And other decentralized social media platforms include Mastodon. I think we've talked about that on the show a little bit. And even Threads. One of their big things is that they allow publishing to the Fediverse, and that's this open platform community. They're not totally a part of the Fediverse yet, but they being Threads, is working towards it. And this actually means you can interact with others on other social media networks, which is pretty cool. So you can post a thread and then people could see it on other social media networks. I don't know all the details there, but I know that's how it goes. Blue Sky, like I said, had a moment last year after Elon took over Twitter, or 2022 when Elon took over Twitter. And I did join at the time, but it fell off thanks in part to Meta moving fast on launching Threads. Have you two seen a lot of attention on Blue Sky in the last week?
Yes.
Or two?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I keep seeing too that the numbers keep growing. Like, didn't they just pass 20 million users something like that?
Yeah.
They've been growing by 1 million users a day.
That's a lot.
Ranking at the top of the app stores and the free app sections. What were we going to say, Laura?
Oh, I was just going to say, I feel like the common narrative I see from a lot of people is I decided to join Blue Sky and it feels like throwback Twitter. It feels like OG Twitter, like how Twitter used to be fun.
Yeah, and it just looks and feels and operates a lot like Twitter too. I mean, if you download the app, you will feel like you're back on Twitter.
Yeah.
Not just with how the UI is laid out, but also the colors. I mean, it's blue. It was born out of Twitter. Blue sky, the sky that the bird flies through. Like it's Twitter.
I'm kind of surprised they're able to get away with that.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works. I mean, I guess it helps that it was born out of Twitter. Like Jack Dorsey created it within Twitter. I mean, the biggest difference between this and Threads and Facebook and Instagram is you have the gosh darn following feed, reverse chronological following feed. You just see the latest posts first. And by the way, there was a movement early in Blue Sky to call posts skeets instead of tweets.
Oh, yeah,
it was
I
stupidest thing ever.
I forgot about that.
Nobody liked that. That's fallen by the wayside. But then you don't have to just see reverse chronological order. There's a Discover tab. There's a Popular with Friends tab. I added somehow a news tab to my feed, and it's just all news accounts. It's nice. So, like Pam, you mentioned, 20 million users. Creators and publishers are loving that links perform better on Blue Sky. Twitter, Threads, Facebook, etc. They suppress the links. They don't want people seeing links on their platforms because it takes you off platform, and then you're spending less time interacting in their app. The owner of Blue Sky said, "We love the open web. So yes, we're going to continue supporting people sharing links. We're not going to suppress those posts." So that's really good news. I work with one publisher who's been very happy with the performance on Blue Sky.
Do we have a Blue Sky presence yet?
No, I feel like we should get on that.
We should, yeah.
Laura, you joined Blue Sky, didn't you?
I did. I've only put out one skeet.
No, we're not using that word.
What are we using? What's the word?
I think it's officially just post, which is so lame.
A
blew. Say yeah. I blew something.
I don't see how that's better. But anyway, I've only made one post so far. I've only made one, but I will say it is just a much more cool environment. Like, people aren't on there fighting about politics. People aren't on there shit posting. I think that's the thing that sticks out to me the most, is I feel like if I go on Twitter, everyone in there is just shit posting to try and piss each other off and start flame wars. Yeah. And it's not like that in Blue Sky. It's actually people just talking about things they're interested in.
Can that last, though? I wonder.
It didn't with Twitter.
Right. That's partly a moderation issue. So hopefully Blue Sky can take care of that.
Part of it, too, is that Twitter, like, kind of forced us to integrate other people's tweets into our feeds.
Oh.
You know, so like all of a sudden you went from like basically being in your own little watering hole with all the people you follow and all your friends to like getting pushed, like getting other people from like the rest of the internet pushed into your little area, or like similarly you being pushed onto other people.
Because of the algorithmic feed.
Yeah. And also even like I know now they do have like the For You following tab and stuff like that, but I still feel like you see a lot more like ads and like suggested posts in your following tab anyway. So.
Well, and to this point, to help keep things positive. So if you only follow people you care about and topics you care about, so it'll say positive that way. But then this popular with friends tab, if your friends are people who are like-minded, then that should all be positive stuff too. Now, of course, this is kind of a problem. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about how in our Threads feeds, for example, we were seeing all this support around Kamala Harris, and look at these long lines in Philadelphia. She's totally got this. And I fell for it. I think a lot of people fell for it. We got played by the algorithm. So I guess we just have to like enjoy a happier, and hopefully it sustains that place, while remembering these feeds that we have, algorithm or not, are not reflective of reality.
It's always a hard lesson to relearn, because I feel like existing on the internet is to relearn that lesson multiple times.
We forget things pretty fast, don't we?
It's those attention spans.
Yeah. In light of the election, I have been looking for good places to stay up to date with news and not necessarily a traditional news outlet. So I'm hoping that Blue Sky will be able to be that place for me, because I used to be so dependent on Twitter for news, and I deleted it from my phone and my iPad. I feel so free. It feels good to not be dependent on Twitter anymore, not even have to look at it. I'll still peek at it here on the computer. But I'm surprised at how easy it was for me to delete it from my phone for the first time since 2007 and be okay with that. Now, of course, I have Threads and Blue Sky in its place, but I'm surprised how much I don't miss it. Pam, are you thinking of joining or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it time? Like, have we reached the point? I said I was going to ask you, and I was just going to join whenever you said it was time.
I think you should. I mean, if
if the show's going to start an account, I feel like I have to.
Chloe's going to be like, "Oh, great, another place for me to post. Thank you so much."
Well, maybe one of us can take over.
We can just close our Twitter account.
We could, yeah, and just spend all our time skeeting on Blue Sky, on bluing on Blue Sky, skying on Blue Sky. There has to be a better word.
Signing up tonight.
You know what was the word tweet was so important to Twitter's existence. It became like saying, I'm going to Google something. I'm going to tweet something. And he changes it to X and says it's now called a post. You post on blogs, you post on threads, you post on Instagram. Like, it's become so generic all of a sudden. It's such a shame.
It's because he's so unique. He's dark gothic MAGA, so his
Uniquely
platform
stupid.
does not need to be unique.
I am going to try to post to Blue Sky more often. I want to help keep it a happy place. I posted a photo from a hike over the weekend.
Well, I was just going to ask, Laura, because, you famously have said that you've kind of like dropped off social media. Can you see yourself using this more because it is a little bit happier for now?
Yeah, I think I could see myself enjoying the phase of this, however long it lasts, where it's just genuinely fun to be there. As soon as that's over, I'm out, though. Like,
that's fair. Protect your peace.
I never thought that I would be someone that would become inactive on social media because I was always really active. And over the last like 2-3 years, I just can't anymore.
But you are pretty active on TikTok, or?
I mean, I'm active in terms of being a lurker. Like, I watch.
Consumer.
Yeah, I watch a lot of TikTok. Do I post to TikTok? Not really.
No, you don't. I check every morning for a new post from Laura, and I don't see anything.
I'm like, I mean, it would just be, it's my parents' dog's account.
Oh, yeah,
it's not even mine. I made an account for my parents' dog. So anytime Chloe like tags me in TikTok, she tags Basily Boy because that's the account, and it's all videos of my parents' beagle.
Yeah.
People are probably like, what the fuck is this?
Who am I following again? Like, they forget who is behind that account.
That's so funny.
I'm rooting for Blue Sky. It's got a lot going for it, I think. It's got some unique features, including this feature called the Starter Pack. And basically what you can do is create a list of people you want others to follow. So, for example, we could create a millennial starter pack and would have in it, let's say, us three, plus the millennial account. Let's say What the Hype and LegoCast 2. Then with just one click, a user can follow everybody in that starter pack. And what's also great about that is it's an easy way for people to get started on Blue Sky. Because you join like threads. At the beginning, you would automatically follow all your Instagram connections. But it's like, well, how do I find followers on people to follow on here easily? A starter pack is the answer.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
We need to do one for all the shows. Pam, we got to get you, Eric, and Micah to sign up for Blue Sky, and then we're good.
Eric and Micah, I bet, are not going to want to do it.
I don't know. They really like Twitter. I feel like
that's the problem. They really like Twitter. They're not moving. So check it out, everybody. Give it a shot. If you like Twitter and you're sick of the Elon stuff, give it a shot. I do wonder if we are going to all hit a wall at some point with jumping from social network to social network to social network. I mean, just in the last year, we've gone from Threads to Blue Sky. Some of us went to Mastodon.
What was the other one?
Though,
Hive?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that this has going for it is that it's so like intrinsic and in terms of setup because it's so familiar. So like, like even with Threads, like people were confused about like no hashtags, for example. It took them a while to like launch with hashtags. So like the fact that this just operates like Twitter does, I do think that like that is a big plus for them.
Yeah. I'm still so confused by hashtags on Threads. Like
Me too.
You bring up
use one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then sometimes I don't use any, and my posts still do pretty well. Like,
and then you do a hashtag, and then it deletes the hashtag part, the pound symbol after you complete the hashtag. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know, it's breaking my brain for some reason.
It's weird.
It's because we're elder millennials.
Where'd my hashtag go?
Yeah. Do you think young people are on, like, where do you think young people are actually on Threads though? I think they're still all on TikTok.
I agree.
Yeah. But the traditional hashtag system works there, right? on TikTok?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a new shirt idea. Where'd my hashtag go?
Hold my hashtag.
Hold my hashtag.
Oh my God. Can you imagine when we're all old in the nursing home?
Yeah.
And it's like, dial the hashtag.
Make like a limited edition. Like, I'm going to skeet that merch
Yeah.
just for Laura.
You know, say what you want about Twitter, but the hashtag started there. The @ username started there. And the pull down to refresh UI feature that we now see across all apps didn't start in the official Twitter app, but it started in a third-party Twitter app. It impacted how we use mobile devices and social media.
Honestly, I feel like Twitter was the thing that made Facebook lame.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
I definitely remember a moment where I realized I cared way more about what was going on Twitter than Facebook. So I think Twitter actually like put the first nail in the coffin in terms of like Facebook's relevance for people under a certain age.
And Facebook is just so clunky at this point. Like there's just so much in it. And I've said before, I like Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook groups. And then there are some people who still post pretty regularly. I'm like, really? Why? But, you know, you do you. It's fine.
Yeah. Honestly, I just keep it so that people whom I know can still reach me. Like, I definitely have people in my life who the only way I have to reach them is through Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook Messenger is huge for a lot of people to communicate
that's the
around the
reason
world.
I still have it, to be honest. But yeah, Twitter's on the chopping block, honestly. I think I'm going to delete my account tonight, as a matter of fact.
You heard it here first.
I'm not in love with it. I'm not married to it.
I got to load up your account and find some problematic tweets before you delete it.
Nah, I've been taking care of that for years, baby. Ever since you introduced me to tweet delete, I was like, anything older than a year is gone.
Yeah, I think Elon may have broken that because because trust me, I tried to install that within the last few months, and I think you have to pay for it now. Maybe that was it. Well, R.I.P. Laura's Twitter account. End of an era.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, we are going to make some recommendations for everybody, but first we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Before we get to recommendations, Pam, what's coming up in After Dark this week?
We're going to be talking about this term that's been flying around over on TikTok for a few months now called underconsumption core, and how it's helping people de-influence and save money. And then it looks like we also have some feedback from our road rage discussion to get through as well. So it'll be a nice little mix of topics for After Dark.
Yeah. After Dark is part of Mega Millennial, and you get that every week when you're a patron or Apple Podcast subscriber. It is also ad-free. Visit patreon.com/millennial to pledge today, or Apple Podcast users can tap into the show and subscribe to the Mega Millennial feed.
Other Patreon benefits include recording studio access, monthly variety shows, access to our planning meetings, and 2 episodes of Smart Mouths get released from the vault. It's easy to get started. Apple Podcasts and Patreon offer 7-day free trials and annual subscription discounts.
Time for some recommendations. What do you have for us, Pam?
I wanted to recommend Scrivener for all my fellow writers out there. It's a software that you can purchase one time for $50, and you don't have to purchase it again unless they make a major upgrade, which is a novelty today and age. But I mentioned that I was taking a creative writing class this month, and I've been using Scrivener for a while, but like, man, do the features really shine when you're actually trying to write something longer than a couple thousand words. This is great as well if you tend to write out of order like I do. They have a bunch of templates. There is like a little bit of a learning curve, but once you kind of like get the hang of some of the more basic tutorial stuff, you can really do a lot with just a little bit of knowledge. But yeah, they have like templates set up so you can like really easily get to work on even like a short story or a novel with like multiple parts or anything like that. And this is where like the writing out of order really comes into play, because you can like break things up by not only chapters, but also scenes, and then just like rearrange stuff. They have snapshot features that lets you like track edits from multiple drafts so that you never have to like really lose a draft. And it just kind of shows you what you changed in case you want to change something back. It's kind of just like an all-in-one really nice place to organize everything from your writing to, like your character profiles if you're writing fiction, or even like your outlines and stuff. So cannot recommend this enough. I'm never going back to Word or Pages or any other writing software. I'm just going to write everything in Scrivener.
High praise.
Yeah.
And with the holidays coming up, it might be a good purchase for somebody, for the writer in their life, especially if it's just a one-time purchase.
The only bad thing I will say is that they have an app for your phone, and you do have to pay separately for the app. So that's another like $20 if you wanted to take it on the go.
That is annoying.
And it's a little bit harder to like sync between the two, because you do need to use, like something like an iCloud or a Dropbox drive to save all your work in. So it's a little bit more work. They haven't really done a lot to upgrade things there, but it is a smaller software company, so I can't really blame them too much.
Okay.
And it's a good product. So at this point, I'm just like, I might just throw another $20 their way for the app.
Yeah. Sounds like it might be worth it.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the holidays. Do you two, when you put up a Christmas tree, real or fake?
Fake.
Real.
Okay. Okay. So Laura said fake. Pam said real. I'm a fake Christmas tree person as well. I bought one from Target like probably 7 years ago at this point. Still love it. Of course, a real Christmas tree is great for the smell. You can't beat that smell. It's just easier to have a fake tree. And the thing that has bugged me about the fake tree is the bottom part where you just see the pole that the tree is mounted on. And I look at this every year and I'm like, this is just killing the vibe for me. And so finally this year, I bought a faux brown bark Christmas tree skirt. It wraps around the bottom of the pole. Instantly made this tree look like 50% better. And I mean, we decorate it well. We do the lights up really well. It's all Pat mainly. But just that pole, I'm sitting on the couch looking at that pole the whole time. I'm like, this is a fake tree. Now, suddenly, I feel like I have a real tree in the house, minus the smell. So if you've ever been bothered by that pole, then check out the fake bark you can put on the bottom of the pole. I bought the one from the Christmas Tree Hugger store on Amazon, $19. Shane says buy bigger gifts to cover it up. Yeah, okay, but it's mid-November. I don't have any gifts under the tree right now.
Andrew doesn't want to see that poll and be reminded of his old workplace.
What?
I was cracking up every time you were like, if you don't want to see that poll. I was like, this is very, I don't know.
Of my old workplace, though. I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
Just sit with it. You'll get there.
It'll come to me at like 2 a.m. tonight.
Yeah,
got it.
I'm
right.
sorry. I would like to recommend Arcane Season 2. I recommended Arcane Season 1 a few weeks back, and Season 2 is currently dropping new episodes, and it is so, so good. So if you haven't had a chance to watch Season 1, definitely recommend doing that. But if you have, don't miss out on Season 2. They're dropping episodes in 3 parts. The final part is going to drop this week later. So definitely check it out. It's really good.
Pals, make sure you're following the show in your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. And we would love a review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that we are releasing video episodes every week on YouTube.
To stay in touch with us, email millennialshow@gmail.com or visit millennialshow.com. While there, you'll also find the links to all of our various social media channels, so please do give us a follow. Spotify users can also leave feedback directly within an episode.
After Dark starts in a moment for patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
Are you muted, Pam?
I forgot. And I'm Pamela.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.